Good morning, everybody. Please welcome to our next lecture. Gregg Sotiropoulos will talk about time and productivity. Could this be our wired generation's Achilles heel? But before he speaks, I want to give two little announcements. At the end of this lecture, we're going to have a promotion for you, so keep until the end. And before he starts speaking, Konstantinos Alexiou, who is the regional manager of Publications for Latin America, would like to speak to you a little bit, okay? Please welcome Gregg and Konstantinos.
Thank you, Barbara. Thank you very much. I would like to thank SBS for the invitation and for this excellent event. My name is Konstantinos Alexiou, and I'm Regional Sales Manager for Communications in Latin America and in Brazil. I wish that the situation and the circumstances were much better so we could do this live in Brazil, but I hope this will happen very soon. I hope all of you are safe and healthy. A few things about our company before Gregg will start. Publications has been in the ELT area from 1974. It belongs to International Group. We are a content creator with a global presence that we deliver complete educational solutions for 4 different subject areas, for ELT, for math, for science, and for ICT. I don't want to spend a lot of your time with our commercial staff. I will pass the microphone to Mr. Gregg Sotiropoulos. Gregg is one of our most experienced academic ELT consultants. We have been together with Gregg several times in many cities in Brazil, and I hope very soon we will come again. Thank you very much again from my side. Enjoy the presentation and hope to meet you very soon. Have a nice day.
Thank you, Costa. SBS, thank you so very, very much for having me here again. It's always a pleasure working with the amazing team of SBS, and more importantly, having all of the educationalists throughout Brazil. And what I see here in the comments section, we have even some people from other countries. So thank you so much for joining us. This particular title, Time and Productivity, is something that we are challenged with, both with face-to-face learning and with online learning. And when we talk about our students, I like to refer to them as the wired generation, because they were so into technology before quarantine, before coronavirus hit on a global scale, that throughout lockdown, we have seen that our students were even more wired. And this, unfortunately, now is our students' Achilles heel. It's their weakness towards time and productivity. Now, as I can see the comment section, this is going to be kind of interactive. So when I ask you a question, I would like you all to write your answers in the comments section. I'm going to start off with a very, very difficult question. So I want you all to put on your thinking caps. Okay. And I want you to write the answer to this question. Are you ready? And that is, how many hours are there in a day? I know it's difficult. I'm sorry for doing this so early in the webinar. But if you can write in the comment section, how many hours are there in a day? In one day, how many hours? Now be careful. This might be tricky. Yes, okay. Right away, everyone's writing 24 hours, 24. Some people said to me about 12. Ah, interesting, George. Okay, about 12. Some other people have written there are not enough hours in the day, right? Especially for us teachers. That being said, Sylvia, 12, huh? 12 hours? Okay. Tiago, 23.59. I love it. It feels like 27. Yes, I agree with you. Sometimes it even feels like 30 hours in a day. There is never enough time in a day, right? So now the next question I want to ask you about time is, how many hours do you sleep at night? Now, this is very important. Okay, follow me, because this is a whole activity that we're going to do with our students, my fellow educators. How many hours do you sleep at night? Think about this and write it down in the comments section. 5 hours, Jessica. That's not enough. But sometimes I also sleep 5 hours. And I can see that the next day, I'm not the same as if when I sleep 7 hours a day, right? Maria, it depends. It certainly does. It is the weekday. Is it a weekend? Do we have a lot of work, right? Do we have projects? Do we have a lot of papers to grade? 8 hours, 7, 6, 7, around 6, around 7. So on average, we can say that between 6 to 7 hours, let's say, we get of sleep. So we're starting our day with 24 hours. And what I want to do is remove those hours that you sleep from the total amount of hours in your day. The next question I'm going to ask you is, how many hours do you spend on social media in a day? Now, this does not include emailing for work. Okay. All right. Ronaldo, when I have insomnia, I sleep about 3 hours. Oh my goodness. So next question, how many hours do you spend on social media? Okay. This is something we're going to be asking our students. Okay. Because what happens here is, from phones to tablets to computers, all of these bring the internet to our fingertips for 24-hour stimulation, ladies and gentlemen. And so our students, the wired generation, are being constantly stimulated by these technological advancements, which take away from hours in their day to be productive sometimes. Okay, so think of the students as the wired generation, and this activity is something that I want you to do with your students. Make them aware of time, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, some of you spend 3 hours, 1 hour, 30 minutes on social media, right? They spend all day on their mobiles on social media. Courtney, Courtney's English, I agree with you. It's difficult. My students chat me all day long. All right, few minutes, for a few minutes, because it's sometimes unhealthy, right? So this is the activity. You ask your students, how many hours in a day? They'll start laughing at you. 24, teacher. Okay. Take out how many hours they're sleeping. Now, you will see that your students, because of this quarantine, this lockdown that's been going on for over a year almost a year now, they have gotten less sleep. Okay. And why have they gotten less sleep? Because they're spending more time where? On the internet, on social media, on technology. All right. So you have to combat this. And why should we combat this? Because it all starts with sleep, guys. It really does. And I want us to discuss this with our students. Children who get less than 10 hours of sleep every night before the age of 3 may develop language and reading problems. Yes, this has been researched. This is true. Sleep itself helps in brain development all the time. How do you feel when you have insomnia and you're sleeping 3 hours? How do you feel the next day, right? How are you able to function, guys, the next day, as opposed to when you are sleeping for a good 7 hours of sleep? This is happening with our students, guys. Okay. Yes, slow brain function. Right? This is happening to our kids. And so they're not being stimulated enough when we're teaching them online, because they're spending all of their free time online. So this neuroplasticity, right? The structural and functional change that takes place in the brain also happens as they are learning new knowledge. And so this helps the brain to create gray matter. And these circuits, these synapses in their brain, the fireworks in their brain slow down as they get older. And with less sleep, even more so. So this is something we have to combat. And how can we do this? How can we ensure that our FGACs, our future global agents of change, our students, are getting the sleep they need for both their health and their performance at school? Well, ladies and gentlemen, it goes back to the triangular relationship that I spoke to once before, that it's the student, it's us, the educationalists, and then it's the parents. You see, we have no control over this. The parents do. So we need to connect with the parents and to find out and to help in this problematic situation regarding sleep and performance and the lack of time that they have. So, number one, limit access to electronics, especially at night. We can talk to our students about this, to limit all screen time throughout the day, to avoid using electronic devices at least 1 hour before their bedtime. Now, some of you might be laughing and saying, Gregg, come on now. Are you kidding me right now? To limit their screen time. Parents are stuck at home with their kids. I'm a father of 2. My son is 7. My daughter is 12. I know how it feels. I have war with my daughter regarding the internet and social media and her cell phone. But yet, I have seen that little by little, as we limit this usage, more of her time is being productive in other ways. So yes, it is possible. All it needs is a little bit of interaction, a little bit of communication. Okay, Henry, you can't do that yourself. Well, listen, it all starts with us, right? If we can't do it ourselves, then how can we teach it to others, right? But I guarantee you, it's very, very different when we start, right? You started not touching your phone in the first hour of your day. That's a great habit, guys. That's a great habit, because these become habits. These routines that we are in now because of coronavirus becomes habits. And we don't want this when our students start going back to school, because you will see that things are going to change. Okay. Not only students are suffering from this, the same is happening to us. Someone else agrees with you, Henry. We spend too long trying to connect with family, work, and friends. Yes, it is true. This is the situation we are in, but this is why I'm delivering this webinar. Okay, because we have to look at this from a different perspective, right, guys? So bed is for sleep only. Many children use their phones or laptops in their beds. Now watch where I'm going with this. I could guarantee I know what you guys are thinking, which can make it more difficult to fall asleep. When the bed is associated with sleep only, it's easier to relax. So 4 out of 5 teenagers sleep with their phones. How many of you sleep with your phones at night? Guilty as charged sometimes, but I have totally cut that out. Okay, just reading some of the comments. Yes, excuse me. There are table games, there's family reading. There's a lot of things that we can do, right, with our kids to become good role models to our children. Okay, oh my goodness, all of you are raising your hands. I do the same. I do. Okay, so let's see what happens to us as teachers if we stop this habit, guys. Let's try to stop this habit, because only then can we really, talk about it with our students. All right. So create a healthy bedtime routine, not only for yourselves, but even your students. If your child prefers to go to sleep at a later hour, every day, have bedtime 15 minutes earlier. I did this with my kids. My son is back at school, and I had to do this for about 3 weeks. This will help our students to adjust. Now, let me offer you a little suggestion, guys. If you wake up late in the day, you're losing valuable time in your morning routine. So try to get to bed a little bit earlier and try to I apologize. And try to wake up a little bit earlier in the morning. Okay, and see how that goes. Now, as I set the tone for time and productivity, discussing that the internet and social media is a cause, it is a problem of why our students are spending too much time and not getting enough sleep, and why sleep is so important. This all revolves around time management. To organize and plan your day, your time between activities. Good time management means that we work smarter. I don't want you to think that, oh, you have to work harder. That's not the point here. Okay, you get more done in less time. And when time is tight and pressures are high, this is what's going on with your students. Your students don't understand how to manage their days, guys. Okay, they are out of their routine. They're out of their element. So if they are setting these new routines, what's going to happen when they go back to school? We have to rewire their mindset. We have to recalibrate their day. And to do that, I want to give you some helpful tips on how we can fine-tune their time and productivity. Okay, so the first thing, and something that I find that is very important, is to set goals. And students don't know how to set goals in general, rather than, even though they should be effective, they have to learn how to do it in general. Setting goals that are both achievable and measurable. So there's something that's out on the internet called the SMART method when setting goals. And the acronym is what I'm going to show you right now. And that is, be specific in what you want to do. Be specific with the goal that you want to set. M, make sure that it is measurable. A, make it attainable. Don't make it so difficult that you cannot achieve it. Make it relevant to the now, to what you want to do now. And of course, make it timely. So let me give you some key questions for each part of this acronym. Okay. Be specific. What do you want to do? What is it that you want to do? I want to wake up earlier. I want to have some extra time in the morning for myself. Good. Okay. That's fine. What do you want to do? I want to get better grades in school. Excellent. Great. How will you know when you've reached it? First thing is, when I see that waking up in the morning has become a routine, that I don't say, I'll wake up at 6 o'clock. The alarm goes off. You press the snooze button. You press it again. You say, it's cold. I don't want to get out of bed. I just want to cuddle. And you press it again. No. You have reached it when it becomes a habit. What do you want to do? Get better grades. How will you know when you've reached it? Well, Greg, that's a silly question. When I get the better grades. Yes, but does that mean for one test? Or does that mean in general in school to improve in all of your subjects? I don't know. Food for thought. Is it in your power to accomplish this goal? To wake up earlier? Is it in your hands to do this? Yes. Now, if you have children, probably not. I don't know. It depends on your situation, yes. So you have to see and base this on your present situation. Is it in your power to accomplish better grades? Absolutely, no excuses. You can do it, students. If you say that you can't, it's basically you don't want to. You don't want to put the extra effort into it. Okay. Yes, the SWOT analysis is very good. The SWOT analysis. right? You can implement the SWOT analysis in marketing into any situation, right? Realistic. Can you realistically achieve it? Can you realistically achieve the goal of waking up in the morning? Well, not immediately, but it will take what? It will take time. The last one. Can you get better grades? Yes, you can. Can you do it overnight? No, you cannot. You have to set a routine. You have to change the way you look at the time in your day to get better grades. So, when exactly do you want to accomplish it? There's no better time than now, is there? So, after this wonderful event that SBS has created for you, with all the amazing speakers that are sharing their information with you, there's no better time than to implement it until the next day. Okay. So, set a time limit to complete a task. Remember to establish time constraints, guys. Okay. Time constraints are very, very important. When you give constraints of time to students, it leads them to being more focused in the moment at the goal that is set and efficient. Do not give them, let's say, a time limit that is, let's say, extended for something that needs 10 minutes and you give them 25. Okay. It helps the students to recognize potential problems before they arise. So my question is, have you ever heard of the Pomodoro technique? Yes or no? While I get a little... Yes, the Pomodoro. That's right. The Pomodoro technique was found, or let's say created, by Francesco Cirillo in the late 1980s. And what happened was, when he was in university, he was having a problem on how to manage his time and how to be productive in his studying. And so what he did was, Pomodoro in Italian means tomato. And so he had this little timer that was in the shape and looked like this particular tomato. And what he did was, he set the time limit for 25 minutes of studying. And when he finished those 25 minutes, that was his time constraint, where he studied for 25 minutes and then he took a little break, a little breather, set the time again with his Pomodoro for another 25 minutes and started studying again. And he found that with these intervals, these breaks, he was able to be a little bit more refreshed. Now, what does this do? Yes, an agenda. Marcela, I'm going to talk about it in a minute. Yes, agendas, weekly, daily, and monthly. Okay, and so what happens here is, when he took those breaks, when you take a break, when your students take a break, online or face-to-face, we don't want them to take a break and go study something else. The break is about just having free time, getting your brain detached, diffused from what it was looking at, in doing something totally different, right? And then going back to it again. Okay, all right. Because as you can see here, some of our students look like this sometimes, right? And when we see a student like this, it's probably because they don't understand. And so if students don't use the Pomodoro effect, students don't use their time effectively and efficiently, what happens is they won't understand something, right? And have you ever had that yes, breathing is a good way to enjoy breaks. Actually taking the stop, breathe, and think technique, right, Luciana? Where you breathe through your nose, you fill up your lungs, you hold it for a couple of seconds, and then you breathe out from your mouth. I've done this with teachers too, and with students. It's an amazing technique. Thank you, right? And so when students, how many of your students don't understand something? You could see it in their nonverbal communication. But yet, they don't ask you right away. And so they don't understand something, they let it go. They don't understand something, they let it go. And what happens here, guys? What happens? It starts to build, right? And then the foundation collapses. And that's when students start to become poor performers, right? Henry, the squats and the stretching is something that, you can do it in a moment's notice, even at your desk. And it gets the blood pumping, the oxygen flowing, right? It's an incredible exercise, a couple of incredible exercises to do, right? Even when you're teaching, just to take that break between class. So, as some of you have written, the next tip, all right. First of all, as a tip, if students don't understand, the question is why? And they don't understand because they're not allowing themselves to take that break, guys, to conceptualize the information, to say, you know what, teacher, I don't know. And what else happens here, which I forgot to tell you, is students are afraid to tell us they don't know. Is that true? That students are afraid to show that they don't know something. It is not an insecurity. It is not a weakness to not know something, right? But yet this is how our students feel. Agendas. Guys, some of you said this. Add some organization in your life and your students' life. Long-term time management. Write down deadlines. Think about which days might be the best to dedicate to specific tasks. Me personally, I never, ever, ever, ever give homework on Monday. Ever. Okay. Monday is a day for them to come back and to, let's say, warm up their brains for the week, right? And to do a warm-up back at their houses. All right. Before you start a study session, put your tablet and phone in another room. So, is that possible, guys? Is it possible for students, when they study, to put their tablets and phones in another room? Is it possible for you, teachers, that when you are planning a lesson, when you are teaching, to put your phones in another room? Make time to reflect on a weekly basis. But in order to reflect on a weekly basis, what do we need? We need to have a monthly planner, check weekly planners, and follow daily agendas. Yes, this is imperative. For time and productivity, you cannot talk about it. You cannot even think of discussing it with your students if you don't have the intention to create monthly planners, weekly planners, or daily agendas. Okay. So if they use their phones or tablets, it is impossible. It's not necessarily impossible. It has become, as I said before, a habit, and habits can be broken. Okay, they can be recalibrated. It takes time. A planner is the best thing I've got this year, right? Michelle, yes, planner, excuse me. Any type of planners put a framework into a student's life, and it helps a lot. So, an agenda should be brought to school every day. An agenda should be online every day with your students. It should be taken to every class. So remember this, that when your students do go back to school, students should have it with them all the time. It's kind of like their journal, okay? All of your homework and assignments must be written in the agenda. Now watch where I'm going with this, okay? Henry, I use a paper planner all the time for two reasons. Number one, I love to write, erase, put X's, and just, I love to have my paper planner. Why don't I like to have a digital one? Because one time my phone crashed. And I was just with my hands up in the air and I did not know what to do. So I said, okay, sometimes the traditional manner is better. And for students, let me tell you, it's a good way for them to remember. It's different when you swipe and tap, and it's different when you actually have to use the synapses and to use your gross motor skills and to write it down. All right, research has proven this. You remember more when you write things down. Okay. Your agenda should be brought home every afternoon. Every afternoon, take it out of your school bag. Don't laugh. Take it out of your school bag and open to today's page. When everything is finished, put it back in your school bag. Why do I write these simple instructions? Because I have given these instructions to students. And what I want is for their parents to see this, right? For their parents to see the planner, the agendas, right? And yes, students may say, well, I want to have a digital planner. Okay, that's fine, but have both. How's that, right? 50-50. But the point here is in the triangular relationship, what happens with this planner is you will see also in their agendas, you can use this as a lesson to write down also what time do they get to bed every night. And so you will have an insight of to what's going on with their day-to-day. You will have an insight to see if there is an issue with their patterns of sleeping. And therefore, you can have a nice conversation about it. Make sure each and every day they repeat this process as it becomes a habit. So, remove unnecessary tasks, guys, from your day-to-day and activities. One step at a time, determine what is significant and what deserves your time in your day. Once you do this, you will see that you'll be able to free up more of your time and have it spent on genuinely important things. This sometimes is not important, but yet we have this as an appendage to our arm. Unnecessary tasks, unnecessary activities. Think about that, guys. Think about what's going on with your students day to day. We need to get into their minds. We need to get into their day-to-day lifestyle and to see what's going on. Because believe me, as I have been doing this on a daily basis, you will see a difference in your students when there is a change in their time management and there will be a change in their productivity. Okay. Plan ahead. Start every day with what needs to get done that day. Today is Thursday. You wake up to this. You woke up this morning. Don't worry about tomorrow. Don't worry about tomorrow. Okay. Worry about what's at hand today. Yes, baby steps. Absolutely. Well, that's how it all began. You never saw a baby get up and just start running around the house, right? It is a gradual transitional phase from one to the other for them to start to walk, right? Make it a habit. Write out a to-do list for the next work day at the end of your day. Or you can even do it throughout the day, what you need to do for the next day. When students start doing this, do you know what happens? They become accountable. They become more responsible. And I don't want anyone to tell me that, oh, they're primary or they're little. Oh, give them a break. No. Okay. It starts from very young. All right. And they can do it. They are more resilient than we think. So just think about this now, guys. I'm looking at the comment section. Can you unfollow everyone on social media? Instagram, TikTok, Snapchat, Messenger, except the people you really care about. Can you do this? I don't know. I'm asking. Can you turn off notifications on your tablet and phone so it doesn't make noise, right? Those little sounds that you hear that make you say, ooh, I got a like, ooh, I got a message on Viber, on WhatsApp. Can you unsubscribe from all YouTube channels? Can you delete all social media apps on your tablet and phone? Yes, some of you may be able to do it. Some of you have. Very good, bravo. But let me tell you, as I said at the very beginning of this webinar, we are discussing also our students, our wired generation. And this is their Achilles heel. This is where the time is being spent too much. And so we need to have that talk with the parents. We have to have that mini lesson about how we can combat this. Make it fun, make it interesting. Do not force them to do this. They must make the mature decision to do it themselves. Okay. Try it. You never know. And so we have our students that look like this, right? For every homework assignment you receive, decide when you're going to start working on it. This is something that students need to think about. Finish every homework assignment at least 1 to 2 days before it's due. Wait a minute, Greg. This can't happen. I give homework today for tomorrow. Okay, yes, I can understand that. But many times we give homework assignments, projects, tests in advance. And what do students do, my fellow teachers? They wait till the last minute. And so students, when they receive homework, as my son has a list of homework to do when he comes home, I literally say to him, okay, you come home at 5:30, which he will be back and he'll be here in an hour. And between 5:30 and 6 o'clock, what do you do? He diffuses. He has his snack. He watches a little bit of TV. Yes, this is his screen time because he has spent all day at school gathering the information, processing the information. So when he comes home, I don't want to say continue processing, do your homework. I want you to diffuse, and then at 6 o'clock, sit down and produce what you have learned in school. Now with my daughter, the opposite happens here now. It's with homework assignments to be done in advance. She has been given a lot of projects in advance, and I'm trying to teach her time management skills. Okay. It takes practice, but that's why we're here to support them, right? And now we have another tip. And this tip, I didn't want to mention this to, I think it was Henry and some other people who were talking about it before, but that is exercise. And this is one of the reasons why students have gym class, right? School has gym not only for physical well-being, right? But because gym class assists the curriculum, the framework of school for students to perform better. Students need to exercise at least 3 times a week. And they do this in gym class. But now, this entire year, they haven't been doing it. Right? They haven't been doing it. And so I've started a little exercise, 5-10 minutes with my son. And I've seen that it helps a lot because it allows the body, excuse me, it helps in remembering, it helps in having the overall wellness, take the new knowledge, and process it more effectively. Okay. Prioritizing now. Another tip for time and productivity. Stephen Covey, I don't know if you've read the book, The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. It is an amazing resource to have on your shelf. I strongly advise you to use it. He created the Covey Matrix, and that is deciding which of a number of different jobs or tasks that we have in the day, in the week, in the month are most important or urgent, and to deal with those first. But what happens, guys, is we deal with tasks in the wrong order. We prioritize incorrectly. And so we have the first, which is to manage the manageable tasks, which are urgent and important. Then we have tasks that are not urgent, but they are very, very important. And this is where I want to put the focus. Okay. There are urgent tasks, but they're not important for the now, and those we need to avoid sometimes. And then we have to limit the tasks that are not urgent and certainly not important. So Brazilians tend to accomplish their tasks right on their deadlines, huh? Excuse me. So let's see this now. What are urgent and what are important? Deadlines, exams, real crisis emergencies, last minute preparations, meaningful appointments. We can manage this, okay? We can control some of this, right? But then we have some things that we consider not urgent, but they are very important, guys, okay? And that is the planning phase, the preparation phase. There's a problem prevention. There's self-development. It's having a healthy lifestyle, quality relaxation. Relaxation, man, how many of you have relaxed in the past couple of months? I mean, really had quality relaxation, right? Relationship building. You see, this is the core of what I've been saying so many years, that education is not about content. It is about the interaction. It is about the relationship that we have with our students and with each other in school, right? It's having some quality relaxation built around the curriculum of school so students can re-energize for the next section of school. Self-development, right? To develop ourselves in a way that makes us better, because we can always better our best, right? So how do we, to find motivation. Yes, well, this is where you find it, here, right? Now, urgent and not important. Some calls, some emails, reporting somebody else's problems, needs, shallow relationships, some meetings. You know, some of these might seem urgent for some, but they're not important, right? Sometimes we need to say no. Sometimes we need to avoid these, right? I want you to look at this as a matrix, as a framework when I finish, okay? Because I see some of you, well, you know, it is important, some of the things in managing. It is important. Yes, they're all important, but some of them may not be as important as others, and we're putting them in the wrong box. Now, ladies, don't get angry with me, but there is a little line in the next one. Social media, watching TV, nonsense movies, stuck on Netflix, gossiping, shopping. Now, shopping we haven't done because we've been in lockdown, but holy moly, wait till the stores open up and everybody starts going out again, right? To limit this. Now look at this matrix all together and see where you have been putting certain tasks. Where have you been prioritizing them? If you want, take a screenshot and use this. Okay, the Covey matrix. Okay, it's something to put in your educational tool belt, and it does work. All right. And so, Mr. Jobs, I feel said it best. Your time is limited, and it is, my fellow teachers. Do not waste it living someone else's life. Don't be trapped by dogma, which is living with the results of other people's thinking. That's why you're authentic. That's why each and every one of you, and as Costa said at the beginning, I wish I could be live with you right now in person to see these comments, right? To hear these comments, to see your expressions, right? On how you think through your authenticity. Don't let the noise of others, the naysayers, the people who are negative, their opinions, drown out your inner voice, your inner flame. And most important, I want you, and as Steve Jobs says, to have the courage to follow your heart and intuition. Because as Aristotle said, education of the mind is no education if you don't educate the heart. And so with time and productivity, what we need to do is to get closer with our students, help them with their time management, assist them in finding out some reasons why they may not be performing as they should. Not telling them that it's a bad thing, but that maybe if they learn to just change it a little bit, the outcome will outweigh that sacrifice. Food for thought. Okay, food for thought. So I want to, yes, it's over. I know. I'm sorry, but if you I think we have a couple of minutes. If you want to send any questions right now, if I have time in the comment section, I'd be more than happy to talk about it. Too fast. Yes, sometimes it is too fast sometimes. You're very, very welcome, guys. It's an absolute pleasure to talk to all of you. I can't wait to thank you. Thank you very much. Yes, they're random tips, you know. I like to look at webinars as professional development where you get a plethora of tips and suggestions, and then you take whatever meets your needs and implement them, you know. Thank you very much for your comments, guys. Thank you. And I hope in the end of 2021, hopefully 2022, that we get to meet in person again, right? Oh, if I don't, oh, it left. Wait a minute. Where'd that go? Just saw a question. If you don't mind, yeah, that's fine. Don't worry about it. Marcella, yeah, go right ahead. It's cool, man. Okay, do it. Okay. Music to relax. Yes, I've used music in New York when I was a primary teacher going back, way back, like 20 years ago. I actually used various forms of music because it stimulated my students in different ways. When I wanted to get them excited and revved up for something, I would use old school rock and roll, like Guns N' Roses, Led Zeppelin, and different groups like that, or old school hip hop, Run DMC, things like that. And what's great is that if you start sharing music, even Mozart, classical music, jazz, right? Use different forms of music from different countries. It becomes multicultural, and students compare and contrast the different music styles. It definitely works. Could I show you the last slide again? Yes. Give me a second. Give me 1 sec. I'll show you the last slide. Doop. Are we good? Metallica. Yes. Maria, Metallica, of course. Is that good? Is this the slide you wanted? Thiago, yes, good, excellent. Bullet journal, yes, bullet journals certainly work, especially for little kids. I think they work very, very well. How can I teach all of this if I'm as... Oh, well, then this webinar was for you, Karina, as much as it was for your students. Sometimes as you get older, habits are hard to break. And I totally get that. I totally get that. It is hard. It is hard. Excuse me. Okay, so
Hi, Greg. Hi, everybody. Thanks, everybody, for joining us.
Thank you, Barbara.
Now I have a little surprise for the crowd watching us. Will you allow me to do that, Greg, please?
Yes, I love surprises. At least, go ahead.
We are just going to give for the Brazilian public here, it's only valid in Brazil. We're going to have 1 year of Brustizo for free for the first person who sends here in the comments and is subscribed to the event. What is the best, actually, what is the worst time-consuming activity your students do? The first one who is subscribed and answers here in the comments.
Come on, guys, put your thinking caps on.
Vanya Lessie has said social media. Let me check if she's she's subscribed.
Wait, someone else said it first, I think.
Someone else said before Vanya?
I think so. That was so fast. Oh,
yeah?
My goodness. Wait a minute.
I guess I'm yeah, I had. Yeah, Henry Akashi said first. I'm sorry.
That was fast.
He was really fast. Henry is subscribed. And he is the winner. We're going to contact you through email. Okay, we're going to send you an email so you can send us our data to win 1 year of the annuity of Brustizo. Okay, Greg, thanks a lot for your help.
You're very welcome. It was a pleasure.
And we have another surprise for the crowd.
Gregg is coming to Brazil. No.
Oh, that would be awesome. I would love that. But unfortunately, not yet. But after the vaccines, maybe. We are going to, in 5 minutes, we're going to upload on Instagram. This is for the teachers who also teach PLE, Portuguese as a Foreign Language. So we're going to give the instructions on Instagram. In about 5 minutes, we're posting it. So it's kind of who was here yesterday and participated. You have to find this post, which with these books, share it on your stories and marking us with our at Livraria Internacional SBS. And at 2 p.m. on our next lecture from Paulo Abreu, we are going to announce the winner, okay? So stay tuned on our Instagram so you can win some books as well, okay?
Awesome.
So thank you guys. Thanks a lot, Henry. We're going to contact you. And thanks, Greg, for your amazing lecture.
Thank you. Take
Thanks
care.
a lot. Hope to see you soon here in Brazil with us.
Can't wait.
And thanks, everybody. Have a nice intermission and see you guys back on 2 p.m. with Paulo Abreu's lecture, all right? And your certificates to download, the link is already available on the description of this video here on YouTube. Thanks a lot, guys.
Take care,
Bye-bye.
everyone. Bye.